Well, you go for the JLT almost certainly. I think he's still entered in the RSA. What can we say about it? We schooled him this morning out back over fences. He ran in the clean. New Year's Day. He didn't really. Well, he didn't get round. He pulled him up in the end, and he was making a noise. And we've done his pallet. Schooled him this morning, and I'd say he'd have the blinkers on and go for JLT. It's just his jumping all season has been a little bit suspect, and that's what he'd do. He's had his pallet done. At the same time, he didn't run very well. We had an awful lot of horses in that period not running very well, and most of them seem to come through any of that. And it's a lovely. On the hindsight, you think when we look back on it, we think, well, we had a quietest Christmas. We didn't run that many, and they seem pretty fresh now. And sometimes the cards you're dealt. Sort of come to your now the spring coming. I know we might have a bit of cold weather next week, but I think our horses are right back in real good form. Obviously, there's one or two will be probably having a little bit of a quiet time now, but we've still got 3 weeks to go.
Colin, you said that he lacked courage over his fences. Finian.
Well, he did.
So, is there much you can do about that?
Blinkers. They have blinkers on. He's just a little bit today schooling. That's not even Finian, that's another one. Yeah. But Finian's, you're racing JLT. I can't see any reason why we got 3 miles, but there's a chance we could. And then, but he will have blinkers on. This one here is Elegant Escape. Do you know the most significant fact about this horse?
Second to Sam Crow.
Closest any horse has ever got to Sam Crow's this one.
The length.
Was it a length?
A length.
Oh, it was a length and quarter.
Yeah. No, I think they revised it, Colin, afterwards.
And Sam Crow was off a bit as well. He was struggling to hold on to that. This is a beautiful young horse. It's one of our. We liken him a little bit to the campaign what Native River had. He would stay 4 miles. You know, he's in the National Hunt Chase. But it's, you know, we'd like to think we get someone like Jamie Calder, one of the top Irish boys, but you know what's going to happen. They ring up the day before, 2 days before, and say they're riding one in Ireland. So
Didn't have an last year.
we've asked, and they say, yeah, we'll ride. But they said the same that about Native River. Then the day before, Manila Rocco suddenly found form, so he moved on. That was. Which jockey was that? Derek O'Connor. Derek O'Connor, wasn't he? He had them all booked. Or Tom Malone did. Maybe. But he could go in the RSA or the, you know, the Black Corton's a very good horse. He beat Black Corton in the Newbury, and we were closing on them fast at Kempton as well. Kempton's a sharp track. I think Cheltenham would be right for him. RSA or the 4 miler.
Where do you prefer to go?
Would it depend on the ground, Colin?
I don't know. I'm sure they'll make it good to soft. I don't think he's ever going to get much softer in March at Cheltenham. And I know they'll water it to make it good to soft. So we just as soon as good to soft. I don't really know. At the moment, we definitely leaning towards the RSA. But if top Irish jockey became available, that might change it.
That would swing it, would it? If Jeremy
Not
Calder.
definitely, but may do. You know, it's he's a good horse. Rated 100. He put him at £4. He's 154. There's not many rated above him for the RSA. But we'd also have size in Tennessee in there. But that wouldn't. I don't worry if I run 2. It's never bothered me.
Size in Tennessee go for the 4 miler, Colin, or the.
Well, he's entered in both.
Yeah.
he might well do.
White Moon.
That's why we've left them in too, is not to sort of decide 3 weeks before what we're going to do. So that's why they're left in.
White Moon.
The RSA looks open, Colin.
I haven't really studied it. Who's favourite?
Monolith.
Monolith, yeah.
Bromhead.
Well, was Black Court second favourite?
About third.
Third.
Yeah, well, we had that beat with Size in Tennessee in the autumn, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
When he fell at the
Cheltenham.
second last.
Cheltenham.
Definitely had him beat. There's not been rude to Black Court in it, but we did. So we shouldn't really run away from him. This is one of our lovely young horses. He had a little setback, so he's back in full work 3 weeks ago. He goes straight to the ground. White Moon won his first two, came back lane behind when he got beat at Sandown.
For Christmas.
Had to have a month off. Absolutely fine, schooled well this morning. Yeah, he's a lovely big horse, lovely chasing type. But we'll go. I'd say he's a 2.5 or 3 miler. I think he's more of a 3 miler myself. So we'll probably end up in the 3 mile novice. He's entered in 2.5 and a 3, I believe. But it's probably more likely to go for the 3 miler.
What was his problem, Colin? Did he have a pelvic problem or something? Was it?
Pelvis.
Yep.
No one really knows what they do get, do they? But he's right within a week, but we gave him the full 6 weeks off, just in case it was a stress factor. There's a massive piece of body there. These scans, you've got to be a believer when you're looking at the scans, because they're not like human scans where you're getting a big oven and you actually do see what's going on. They're a little bit hit and miss. So we gave him the full time, been back in a month, strong work now. So they'll be ready.
So he's in the Ballymore as well, but you favour the Albert Bartlett.
Yes, as I say, he's in both. It's all according to how many Sam Crow frightens away, isn't there? If there's only going to be 6 in one, we might sort of take a chance at one horse that has an off day. I don't know what we're going to do, really. That's the reason why they're in 2, and it's more likely to go for the 3 miler, I'd say.
You did think he was one of your best novices this year, didn't you?
Yeah, he was lovely. You see him school today, you think, goodness me, we can't wait for him as a novice chaser next year. He was brilliant down there. And you just see he needs 3 weeks. He needs a good. He's a big, heavy horse anyway, but he'll be ready.
You're not a bit concerned about going to Cheltenham without having a run since
Not really.
Sandown?
No, he'll probably have next week. We'll probably take 5 or 6. What have been a bit like him, who've missed a race or 2 over Christmas. We'll probably take them to Wincanton or something like that, just a way day, or even Lark Hill. Just to go through the motions like we did with Native River. I think just a away day and just do a bit, tightens them up mentally as well as physically. This is Ainchi, foul at Sandown. Yeah, it looked for me as though he was going to win 5 lengths. Beautiful big horse. He won. Where did he win to? One at Sandown, second at. We ran him in the bumper first time. He wasn't ready to run last year. We took him away for a racecourse scout with 4 other youngsters, and he finished last. We thought, well, he looks all right, but he did a lot of good last year, so we roughed him off in the end of March. Sutton came out this year, nearly won first time out in a bumper at Cheltenham. He's a gorgeous horse. I think he's progressing. Just everything about him, he shouldn't really be doing what he's doing, but he does. And he'll probably go in the. We're going to be double-handed a few times. I think he's in the 2.5, and he's in the 2 miler and the 2.5. He's not slow. We'll probably try. If we get there with doubles up, we do, but we'll try and keep them apart a bit, because none of us really know if he's a 2 miler or 2.5. It's 135, 138. If there is a horse 154, then we're struggling a bit, but we'll see.
Could he be a bit of a surprise package in it?
Well, I think he can. I think he's a good horse. He doesn't stop either. You know, what he doesn't do is stop. You get these fast run 2-milers, these strong stayers will come through.
Would you consider the conditional jockeys race for him as well, with that kind of mark?
No, those entries went in yesterday.
All right.
No, he didn't do it. Next one's Slate House. Good form there, beginning of the season. He won twice at Cheltenham. I don't think he was quite on his game last time he ran, but he travelled supremely well over that 2.5 at Cheltenham, and then just got run out of. He didn't quite stay on heavy ground at Cheltenham over 2.5. He didn't stay, so he will go for the first race on the first day. That's the Supreme. You can see he won his only point to point. It's a beautiful horse for chasing next year, but we haven't raced him much in the last 2 months because we want to do 2 of the last 3 festivals, if not all 3. It's quite. I know the time between Aintree and Punchestown is quite close this year, but we'd like to think we can have a go at least 2 of them, if not 3, and then that's what we're set up to do. We're trying to win the big races, so you start off at Cheltenham on the first day. Aintree, and see if he's still ready for Punchestown.
What sort of ground does he want?
Well, he's a presenting. I don't think he wants heavy. He won twice there in the autumn. That was autumn ground, good ground. And I'm sure he will do. I'm sure it'll be good spring ground. It'll be ideal for him. And then we got Q Card. You know, he's despite what everything what's been said in the last 3 months, he looked to me to be equally as good as he's ever been. You know, I watched a recording of it yesterday. He was only half a length down, and he definitely got interfered with. I'm not taking anything away from him, waiting patiently, because he won on merit on the day. But you know, and we were in 2 minds all through the middle of the winter where we were going to go or what we were going to do. And I think he will improve massively for it. Whether he goes to the Ryanair or the Gold Cup is, if you read Monday's paper, is all decided, but he's not. He's just spoken to Jean, and this wasn't what she really wanted to say, and we'll let that run for a while. We don't need to decide. It'd be wrong if we don't need to run away with any plans we've ever had with him, because I think he is good. This is Q Car. He's been on the go this is his 9th season, and it is amazing that he maintains his form like he does. And he is, you've got to say, he ran right to some of his best marks. If you took out Waiting Patiently, he beat Freud won a handicap by 12/8 the time before. Beat him out of sight. Top notch. That was a good race.
Tony Island.
And we felt for the last 3 years he's better over 3. So any race.
Does the head say Ryanair and the heart says Gold Cup, Colin?
At the moment, David, it doesn't say anything, because I'd be misleading you if I knew. Jean is actually coming down for 3 days. Have a little holiday with her family anyway. We'll make a decision then for sure. There's no reason why we shouldn't go for the biggest one. Is that any harder to win than the Ryanair? Possibly yes, but we spoke in depth about it all summer anyway with Garth and Anne, and we just wondered all year whether winning going from the Hennessy, having him ready in November to do the Hennessy, and then the Welsh National, then the Deadman, and whether we had taken the edge off him a bit. But we were running into the Gold Cup last year not in the best of form. We're a lot stronger this time round, and so he's had just a 1 run. we had him ready at Christmas. He could have run, and it was a 3-horse race, wasn't it? Whether he beat a horse what didn't stay, and one what needed to run. But the manner of what he'd done it, for me, was equally as good as he's ever been, and he's got a wonderful chance. On the day, a Gold Cup is, in my view, is our hardest race of the season. I think they go flat out, and the big strong stayers win, and then you get horses like Size and John who can travel and have pace at the end. There's awfully. I don't think there's one type will win it, but it's usually the best horse, isn't it? And
How much has he come on for the Newbury run, Colin?
we wouldn't really know. We had him. We had him ready. He'd been to Larkhill 3 times. He only done a mile and a half. Well, he done a mile and a half for twice on the day, because he cantered once and done a nice gallop for a mile and a half. He was ready because we didn't want him to get tired and hurt himself or not do himself justice. So he was ready to run first time. I mean, bound to improve. Every horse does for Battle of Heart, and how much he's got to improve, we'll find out, won't we? If we have a nice clear run with him now to Cheltenham, it'd be absolutely lovely.
You said he was ready, but you didn't want to run him, so how hard was it to sit on your hands?
Well, you know what it's like. Well, we were running weren't running very well. We thought, when we want to run him, he might not be so good. We might step on a stone the day before. It's anything. He might get kicked. We're dealing with racehorses, and there's a fair bit to go wrong in the next 3 weeks yet. So it was. We looked at it, and we didn't really want to go to the Cotswold Chase. And we looked around for a hurdle, and we thought, no, we won't do it. We'll stick with what we thought, and it worked out fine. So that was the plan. Has been held on so far.
But you had to be quite cool about that,
Well, in the end, we had a little look in the calendar. There wasn't anything else, so that's why we stayed with the original plan.
I mean, this year, Colin, the stable's really informed such a contrast to last season. Would last season have explained the run of Q Card in the Gold Cup, because a lot of your horses weren't firing? Do you think he was one of those affected at that time?
Well, it's a question none of us really know, is it? Although we did have 51 runners, we had an awful lot of seconds in that time. If we'd had 2 or 3 winners, the stat wouldn't have been there, would it? I'm sure stable form does help. No one can ever put their hand on why that is. But if we carry on having 3 or 4 winners a week right through to Cheltenham, there's confidence in everybody, isn't there? And why stables go through. When we said we weren't very good over Christmas, there was nothing visible then. There's nothing until sort of 3 weeks after they run. Then they have a little dirty nose for a few days. But only a few days is not. I'll be surprised when you're here if you hear one cough here. I don't think you will, because I haven't heard one cough here for ages.
You're having your best season for domestic winners, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, well, we've got more horses, haven't we? Expectations are high.
Your strike rate's better as well.
Yeah, I never have worried about strike rate. We always aim too high. That's why our strike rate's bad. And we do run bumper horses to bring them on as well. We got a lot of bumper horses, and do we drill them at home, or do we say, right, they're nearly ready, we give them a run and use bumpers to bring them on? And so our strike rates is not one I'm conscious of, although I do look at it every day when I open the paper, don't I?
I knew you did, Colin.
You mentioned expectations. Expectations do, as you become more successful, expectations rise, and so there must be a bit more pressure.
Of course there is. When we first started out, we had 2 pointers, and then we had 3. The first season, I said to someone, then this has aged me 10 years, because Joe was riding him, and it was our first season, and he won 10 races, and he stressed me out, that did. I thought, this is it. So it's no different now. I've got cooler on it anyway, and we've got a good lot of staff here. We've got good gallops, we've got good stables, and we've got a lot of good horses. And we're running plenty of horses, so if one doesn't run very well, the next one might. And sort of keeps the ball rolling a bit.
It's a long way from three-pointer pointers, all this, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and so that's why I feel as though I should ought to enjoy it more, because this is ultimately what I've always sort of inclined to do, and now we're doing it. It's a wonderful time for our family, anyway.
So you said enjoy that you almost implied that you're not as enjoying it.
Well, of course I enjoy the winners, but there is every day you're dealing with issues. You know, we have one rider, two staff off this week. One fell off his motorbike, one fell off on a point-to-point, so we're 2 down, and the other one's not feeling very well, so we're 3 down. So that's we can manage. We got plenty of staff, but it's all those sort of issues we are dealing with all the time. And horses, not, you know, you can guarantee every day from now on in there'll be a different horse coming out of the Cheltenham, won't there? It'll be front page news, the next one. And
Just going back to this enjoy though. So how much do you enjoy it? Because you're running a big business now, regardless of everything else.
first of all, you got to make sure it's a business. You got to make sure it pays, and then do I enjoy it? Of course I enjoy it. It's fantastic, isn't it? It's ultimately what I've ever wanted. I've always lovely horses, and the beautiful part for me is these half a dozen we trotted around to start with. Like that one there is a good one as well. That's a lovely young bump horse.
Have you shown Fox Norton yet?
No,
Oh.
he's got his shoe off.
Is he?
But just, sorry to go on about the enjoy thing, but you said maybe you should enjoy it more.
I enjoy as much as I can, I think, because there's days when it's hard work. It's stressful, isn't it? We've seen what's happened to the young Richard Woollick. It's a very stressful thing. If you are not that way, if you aren't hard, you did not be training racehorses. We're half an inch from disaster or half an inch from being champions all the time, I think, and make sure we enjoy it.
And the people love Q-Card in particular. They love so many of the horses, particularly Q-Card.
That standing ovation he got walking back in, it took me by surprise. I thought I'd just walk in with him, and then everyone was cheering and clapping. I thought, winner's not back in yet, and it's cute. They clapped him out as well, didn't they? It was, you know, we didn't expect it. That's what I didn't expect it anyway, and so many people love watching him run, don't they? And
It was striking after that performance how emotional you were about everything. So presumably when people start saying, you know, should he be retired, in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh, we think he's okay, but...
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying beforehand. None of us really know, do we? He definitely doesn't need to now. We can go what I felt after the race. This is taking any inhibitions I had on Q-Cart away. We'll have him back in. We might supplement him, yeah? I think I can run him in any race I want. I mean, it was only 2 he's in, and he'd have the same sort of chance at neither of them. He's as good as he's ever been, and the race would have done him good. And good spring ground, any ground won't make a difference.
Could you use the expression unfinished business in terms of the Gold Cup? Is that going to be particular after the 2 falls? Is that particularly relevant? The thought of the unfinished business?
Well, it was a good idea when we put him in the Gold Cup first time. He looked as though he would have won it. Second time we were out of form, as you so rightly told me, David. Whether it was that, I don't know. But he's probably in better form now. And he hasn't deteriorated, hasn't he? That's what just because he's 12, human nature would say he has, or he should be, but I don't think he has. So that's fine. I just want to show you that one there. It's this one. He's a little bit gutty, but he's back in work because it's pretty well advertised. He had a stress fracture. It's only very small, and they take 6 weeks, and fine. But he doesn't want. He had 8 months off last year, and we struggled to get him fit because he's a big old-fashioned horse, and he doesn't want another 5 months off now. Oh, when's the Haydock race? End of November, isn't it? Or end of October. is ages away. And if he was an athlete, he would be kept a bit of fitness in him, so he's going to be kept fit. We're going to ride him all summer and turn him out of grass, gab him in and ride him, give him a canter every day, and put him back in the field. Keep an element of fitness in.
So anyone seeing him here would say, you know, he's obviously over what the problem was.
Sounds a pound.
Yeah. So was it a temptation to try and get him ready?
No. No, any other horse we would. But he's, no, we were pushing our luck. Well, he had tendons, he did. He done one tendon when he ran in the Cotswold, and that was end of January, so that was always an issue. We were coming back too soon, but we thought we can't with him have a year off. So he'd be right. We're going to ride him every day till next year.
Colin, is there any chance that Q Card could stay in training next season then?
Hasn't been thought about. No, I wouldn't have thought. No, we've said it too many times, haven't we? No, I don't think there's any chance at this moment anyway. I don't think we're going to. We're going to do it this spring. Right, this is lost in translation.
Back to Native River, do you feel more optimistic about his chances this year, given he's had a light campaign and, you know, like you're saying, a big race in the Hennessy Welsh National, you know, do you think that might just take the edge off and then, you know?
Well, yes, I do. I think at the moment we've got it dead right. Have you seen that? Especially when I watch that race in Ireland, you know, when they had about 5 Go Cup horses in there, won the Irish Go Cup, and they were dishing it up to each other. Now, if three of those come and finish in the first 3, we know we should have a harder campaign next year, because they did have a hard race. They couldn't get any harder than what they had. We've had a little skirmish round and sprinted for half a mile up the running. You know, the last 3 fences should put them spot on. We'll see which one works out best.
Which is there one horse that you sort of fear most, either in Ireland or England?
Size and John. It was a good horse last year when he came through on the bridle and whipped away. I'm sure he looked very good early on this season, and for whatever reason he flopped once, didn't he? But all horses.
Just a diplomatic answer, is it?
I don't know. He did flop once, that's all. And every horse is entitled to do that. They're not machines, and I just think he's. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, it's poor old. They aren't here, are they? To hear it all, so it's. That's the way it is. Well, I'll have a look at him. Bring him on, Manure. Went to the sales and bought this. Vendors come up and tap me on the shoulder. I got a good Oscar. I must have had 10 people do that. I went and saw this one. He's a 6-year-old. And he rubbed his ass travelling over. He had bloody great sores up his ass, and his tail was all rubbed. And then the hair did drop out of his tail within a week, because he had to see that white in his tail. He had the bandage on too tight, and all the hair dropped out. Nothing to do with the other ones having a short tail. But that's Kilbrick and Storm. On a good day, he's good enough to shake up one of the Nichols's wing count over 2, wouldn't he? And we're going to run him in the 3-miler. So he looked as though he's a thorough stayer. He'd have a chance.
Was it the ground at Newbury then?
I just don't think it's quite right. The 2 or 3 hard runs. Didn't travel like he did in those other races, so he backed off him for a bit. Did a little dirty nose 3 weeks afterwards. That's what happens. He's been fine for 3 weeks. We've got 3 weeks to go. He should be fine.
I know it was brought up a minute ago. Fox Norton, what's the sort of score with him? What route are you leaning towards going down? And how is he?
Same again. He had the two races. He just whipped his shoe off. So he's, he's a good horse. He missed the race I wanted to go for, but he did when he ran in the Tingle Creek. Last year we had to do it. After he ran in Newbury in the Game Spirit, he's lame through his back, and we had to give him a few injections in his slightly kissing spine. So he's got issues always in his back. So he had that after this year's King George, when he didn't jump at all. You know, he's stiff all through his back. So he had the long-acting cortisone in the back, and he's absolutely fine now. He's just we missed that race. What was it? Oh, the Gainsborough this year. wasn't it?
Newbury, yeah.
Yeah,
He had pus in his foot.
Pus in his foot, and he's still rumbling about. Now he's all right for 3 days, and he's dotty, but he'll be fine. And I expect we'll go the 2.5, unless Altior frightens everybody off. Then we might take him on. But Altior does look, you know, he does look the business, doesn't he? But he mustn't run away from one horse. And he very nearly won it last year. And that was when we were supposedly out of form. You know, they were all the jockeys were looking around at, which one was it? Duvan. They were all looking at him, waiting, thinking, the one in front of stop. Waiting, the one in front of stop. He didn't, did he? Give him 8 lengths, he wasn't going to stop. We made up 6 lengths after the last, so he
Duvad stay where he was.
probably is just as good over 2 miles a championship race as he's over 2.5. It was 2.5 at Aintree and 2.5 at Punchestown, and he won both. So it's where we think the easiest opposition is, really, I think.
Colin, how difficult was Cheltenham last year? Because you had some agonising near misses, like Fox Norton. It had been such a brilliant season leading up to even sort of mid-February. Your expectations would naturally have been reasonably high going into the meeting.
Yeah, well, we lost Thistlecrack on the route, haven't we? No, he came away thinking Native Rivers come 3rd in the Gold Cup, and Fox Norton's come 2nd in the Champion Chase. One horse bloody ran well to finish 6th, and that was Ultra Gold. Well, he went on and won the big race at Aintree. And a couple of the other ones in behind ran quite well. It was a championship race, and I don't feel too much pressure at Cheltenham, because it's, if you get them there in good form, you know, there's hardly any hard luck stories, and it's as good as you find out how good they are. It's not, I don't get disappointed. It's just we'll find out how good, as long as we can get there. If we get there on a level plane where we've done all our work, and then I'll be glad for anything we get, because it's championship racing. And it's one place I don't get disappointed. I just think, I'm just so happy to be there with lovely horses, and you'll find out how good they are.
In that case, how good was Aintree from your point of view too?
Well, I didn't know it was going to happen, did I? I only we fancied Fox Norton going there, didn't we? Then from out of the blue, sizing Cadalco, he'd make a nice hand. He'd be good again. He's good this morning. He was. We worked him hard yesterday, and he jumped beautiful today. He came out of the blue. Finian's Oscar was obviously, he was, the dreaded foot trouble last time. Now, wasn't it? We didn't get him to Cheltenham. Had 3 weeks where we couldn't ride him. So then he came out and ran really well. It was a lovely time.
Pink shoe.
Yeah, pink shoe.
What's happening with him, Colin?
He's got a splint that keeps on rubbing on the suspensory. So he's going to have a splint removed. He won't be. I don't think he'll race this year. He might be ready by Cheltenham. We had him ready 3 weeks ago. Then he started being nodding again. But he missed 2 seasons. Before I had him, he missed 2 seasons, or even 3. So he's obviously had this thing going on. And
he was just parked out in the field, wasn't he, for 2 years before?
Yeah, we'll take it. We're going to have a splint out, because there's a one what does it. There's a little bone what doesn't do any good. Right, the inside of his leg, and on the outside, come to that. But
so he's not going to make the champion hurdle then?
No.
Or at all this season, do you think?
Well, he might do. This is only going to take 3 weeks, so he could be back for Cheltenham or Aintree. He's fit. He's fit 3 weeks ago, so he's only lost 3 weeks.
Because you had him fit for the Betfair, did you?
Yeah, to 3 days before, and he started going lame.
Shame.
How do you compare your team this year to last year then, Colin?
Well, what do we actually have there with real chances? Only 2 or 3, wasn't it? We got a good chance in the novices with either of them. We got a good chance in the chasers, in the novice hurdle. The chasers are Elegant Escape and Finian's. They just on their best form, they shake it up. Q Card will run a big race wherever he goes in. I think we got a better chance. I think we're
You're in better form.
yeah, we seem to be in better form. Everything seems to be. We redone the gallop over Christmas as well. It got wet and dirty and didn't seem to be. There wasn't any spring left in it, so we took it all off, all the wood chip off, and redone it. And they're working better since then as well.
So you'd attribute that to your turnaround in fortunes to go?
And the Indian boys do anyway. Well, they're not influenced by other things. That's all they think about is racing and what they can add their £5 on. And they think has made the difference.
So you didn't have a virus or anything like that, did
Yeah,
you?
we did, obviously. No different from any other yard. Once you start, that's why a lot of yards don't talk about the virus, because once you mention it once, you get asked that every day you go to race and they ask you if you still got the virus. Well, I liken it. Like, none of you are coughing here, are you?
No, I'm all right. Just about.
You take Christmas time. If you lined 100 people up, you'd have 25 coughing, wouldn't you? It was everywhere you went. There's bloody people with flu and all that. Not so much now. It's all gone through, and I think that's English weather.
The other thing as well, Colin, what's the score with the Potts horses on jockey bookings then? Is Brian riding them, or is it a case of using best available, or what's the situation?
Well, I think the situation, Robbie Power's the first jockey, or we can use Brian, or if Brian's busy in Ireland, we can use whoever we like.
What's the future for the Potts horses, Colin?
Hopefully they carry on.
Nothing really decided.
Yeah, the same. The official line is the same as Jessica says. They're owned by a limited company now, and we'll carry on racing them until their racing days are over. Then we'll find them a home. And they're not going to be replaced.
So no new purchases from that.
That's the official line.
And Q Card will be riding at Cheltenham? Paddy will be.
What about tactics with Q Card? He seemed to really enjoy the slightly more aggressive tactics at Ascot. His jumping was really good, whereas obviously held up at Cheltenham the last couple of years. He's missed a couple hours. Would you?
Yeah, well, I don't think for 1 minute we can go flat out.
No.
Around Cheltenham. There's time and place for everything, isn't there? I was quite keen for Paddy on Saturday to always be going forward.
Yeah.
Well, that's a licence for Paddy to kick on, isn't it? And we just wanted to make his mind up the first, get him in the road. And then he sat still on him. He a couple of times horses went by him. Doesn't have to make the running, but he just wanted to get into a position, jump the first two, and sit up on him and let Throwdown went by him, didn't he? Then Hawks went, Spurdick went by him, but they couldn't maintain that. So you don't have to make the running.
What do you think of the third last at Cheltenham? Why he had those problems there?
Yes, I don't know why that is. The third last is still there in the Ryanair as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't think horses remember, do they? I think the jockey's riding them, Mike.
The jockeys do, yeah.
Yeah.
Paddy won't forgive
I'm
himself.
pretty sure I shall remember. I'm sure you will. It's not a nice idea, is it? It's not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's jumping.
coincidence, he's been a good jumper all his life. And he was tanking. He tanked into it, didn't he, in the first time?
Yeah.
Looked as though he just popped over it and he'd been away. I don't know, Gold Cup can change, I know that. But the second time wasn't travelling anywhere, I just flipped the top and over he came. But why do horses fall? I don't know. Q-Card's a good jumper. And we had Paddy in here on last Thursday morning on our schooling fences, and we went up through fast. That's when we took the fluffy noseband off, and we just run him in an ordinary snaffle because we wanted him to pull again, and that's what he done. He was brilliant over those schooling fences. But whether that's just because he was in good form, he wasn't slightly out of form before, it's all relevant. But if he maintains the form he's in now, we can go for any of those races and not feel as though we're doing anything we shouldn't.
What's going to be the deciding factor for you to make up your mind which race he runs in? What have you got to sort of weigh up?
Well, the deciding factor will be when Jean arrives on Sunday. Well, you know what lovely Jean's like.
Depends when Liverpool are won
Well,
and lost,
that's
really,
right.
doesn't it? Yeah.
If you want your own way, you want to ask her after Liverpool's won. They won 5-0 afterwards, didn't
They
they?
did, yeah.
Yeah. So
Had a
she
good
told
week,
me.
didn't she?
Yes.
Liverpool fans.
2-0.
Oh, fantastic!
yeah.
Yes.
What race would you like to go for, Colin?
I'm not gonna enter into that because that's not fair for me to say. I know you're gonna ask me that question again and again and again. Oh, let's leave it. We'll see. Whichever race we think is best on next week.
What is the